What's up, cycling fans? Van here for another edition of Crit Doc. This race was the Easter Grand Prix, held in the IE, Jurupa Valley, California. I did the men's 3-4 race, and I'll show you why decisiveness is a key word when it comes to crit racing. Being only 30 minutes, this crit was shorter and definitely dynamic. About 1/3 of the way in, I'm on the wheel of Adam. He's strong and had won the San Bernardino Airport crit the day before. When he goes, I know it's a good move, but I also know getting in a break is not my game plan for the day, as I'm rolling solo. So, I was pretty decisive about not following his wheel. So let's fast forward to the tail end of the race, the business end. Like they say, it's not about where you start, but where you finish. Don't get me wrong, the first half of the race is important, but you better be on full hypervigilance mode for that last half. So with 2.5 laps to go, I keep trying to move up to stay in the top 10 or so riders. One of the other things I want to accomplish is to check out my lines and approach. I want to see if the inside line on the very right is clear. Even with other riders moving around me, I hold my line, and it looks like there is space to move up in this section. There's an interesting approach to this finish line. There's a little climb into a right-hand turn, but then it flattens out, and there's even a descent right here. You hear this free hub spinning, before there's a final little kick to the line. So here's the race situation. As we cross the line, there's 2 laps left in the race. There's a break of what sounds like 2 or 3 riders out in front. I'm sitting in the main field in the top 7 or so riders. Since I don't have any teammates in this race, my plan is to let other riders try to pull the breakaway back. If I burn matches to try and chase them down, then I don't have any teammate in the bunch that would benefit from my effort. So again, I have to be decisive about my plan and just stay in the bunch. What I am trying to do at this point is to be super observant about who I should be following and who I shouldn't be following. I try to look for things like who's been doing a lot of work on the front, or who is having to stand up when other riders are sitting down and spinning easy. I try to hold position, but I'm looking for these riders so I know not to follow them when the action gets grippy. Another thing I'm looking for are teams who have multiple riders and are disciplined enough to ride together as a unit. If there are only 2 guys in the break, there should be several squads interested in making something happen. When I see these 4 jerseys, all of the same type, coming by me on my right, I pay attention. Since I'm by myself, I can try to use team tactics to my advantage. As we approach the little climb, it's really obvious that one of the key tips in crit racing is, if you're not moving up, you're moving back. I went from top 7 to top 20 in just 1 corner. I remember the line that I checked out on the previous lap, so I put some pressure on the pedals, not hard enough for attack, but just enough to move up. I tried to move up on the right-hand side. I knew we were approaching the bell lap, and I had to be decisive about staying in the front of the pack. And just like that, I go from top 20 to top 3 in a few seconds. So here it is, bell lap. Everyone already wants to be in the front, but as we cross the line, I realized that with a break of 2 up the road, we were still gunning for a podium spot. Whoever won out of the peloton would still get 3rd. And who doesn't want to stand on a plastic step stool and get their picture taken? I knew that this would be where the action would get grippy. I tried to stay near the front, but not on the front. Looking back, I didn't realize that off to my left were 3 riders from Moment Racing coming together. I I should have listened to my own advice on paying attention to organized teams. What I've also realized is that there will always be a moment in the race where you have to go all in. It may be in a sprint, it may be drilling in a break, but you never want to get to the finish line with more energy left in the tank. You never want to get to the finish line feeling like all you did was sit in. You have to try something. It may work, it may not, but you have to be in the action. With all the corners being right-handers, I try to sit towards the right. Again, trying to keep moving forward in order to hold my spot. I see those old Prime jerseys coming around me again, and I keep an eye on them. When one of the riders attacks on the right, this is a moment of decisiveness I have to deal with. There's a break of 2 up the road, and the next person across the line gets third. Do I attack with this guy, try to get a gap, and hold it all the way to the line? Or do I stay in the bunch? Well, tell you what, I was not decisive. If I was, I would have gotten on the wheel immediately. But instead, I'm burning tons of matches just to try to get onto the wheel, instead of benefiting from the draft. But as this Monstro rider comes around, I know I'm committed. I've already made the effort, and I know I have to go all in. My decisiveness tells me to get on that wheel and commit. After what seems like an eternity, I make it up to the wheel. This means for a split second, I'm 5th on the road. But another key decisive moment is what to do when I make it up. Do I sit on, or do I, bang, immediately attack them? After all, they've just made some big efforts too. So again, I was not decisive, and I sat on. As I prepared to sprint up the little rise, the field ends up catching us from behind. Brian, one of the Moment Racing riders, wins the field sprint for 3rd, and I row in for 9th. This means that only 4 other riders from the field passed me. I wasn't completely happy with my result, but I definitely felt like I left it out on the course. Now, I just need to work on my decisiveness. Till next time, this is the Cross Doc, hoping to see you out at the races.